You see where Lance Walker and his wife adopted twins on the name?
Yeah.
So exciting.
Butterfly. Packs of books. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
They didn't say anything on Saturdays. For there and they didn't say a word.
Some secret. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had an adoption fall through a couple years ago. Then just, you know.
Sometimes I see it myself. I like.
You're a busy man.
Water heater.
Watch.
Good morning.
It is.
Everyone, we'll call this meeting to order for the regular Board of Trustees meeting today, January 21st. Trustee Smith has agreed to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this point, I'm officially going to hand over the gavel to Chair Wasserberger. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, with that, then the first order of business should be to extend a thank you to our outgoing chair and stupendous board of trustee that we have that has been a longtime supporter of the college. So you and trustee Palmer are going to be hard leaders to follow. I've already bought a recipe book on how to do this job. I like what it really says. It's from ACCT and it says, the effective board chair, first among equals. And I think that's the most important thing is to me that we all are equals and we all bring different things to the table. But each of you possess something that is so powerful that's going to continue to change a college. And you and trustee Palmer have been so instrumental to tapping into those strengths and diversities of this group. So again, it's going to be a hard act to follow. We thank you for all that you've done, so many hours that you have given. And with that, I would extend to the other trustees to share their thoughts and thanks.
I would like to extend my congratulations on the end of a wonderful 2-year term. And I know you're happy to be moving out of the chair and into your very fancy chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll have to
Thank you for all
showcase it
you've
here in a
done.
minute.
I didn't notice a fancy chair.
Okay, well,
Oh, yeah, there it is.
there we go. Beautifully handmade with the logo.
I'm gonna set it back here though. So I don't scratch it up and take it to my office.
It doesn't rock, does it, Josh. It doesn't. When you get yours, it doesn't rock.
And these ones are a little softer too.
Well, I echo what trustee Anderson said. You guys, you started it off. And Josh followed. And yes, trustees, we've all worked together. And that's always important. And I think a lot of that starts with your chairman. And we've been very progressive. We had a lot of things to do in those years, guys. And it seems like we got them all done so far. Keep trucking down the track. Sure, the track will always have a few curves in it, but we'll straighten it out somehow. So thanks, Josh, for all you did. And you're a good Bolt fan too.
Chair Wasserberg, if I might, trustee former chair, you have done an you set the bar high. You took that bar and you moved it higher. I'm proud to have served under your leadership as chair on the board. You have led us through some tumultuous times, and seen us through on a positive note. Your leadership, your passion for this district and for these students and this college are unsurpassed. You know, the legacy of your mom, you have carried forward in an extraordinary way. And thank you for a job well done. People don't realize how much time the chair puts in. I know the new chair, Wasserberg, will soon find out. The meetings, the behind the scenes discussions and conversations, you have done just a tremendous job. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well said. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
I echo that. I just want to say thank you as a new trustee coming into this. I have always felt welcome, and I think a lot of that is with your due to your leadership, and you know, it helps with knowing each other for a year or two, and built on that friendship. Thank you.
Yeah, please, sorry.
Sorry, former Chair McGrath.
Absolutely.
Trustee McGrath, thank you so much. As Trustee Palmer said, there's been a lot of conversations, a lot of time spent planning, a lot of time spent working on negotiations. Your guidance and your help has certainly helped Gillette Community College District reach significant milestones, along with our entire Board of Trustees. But your leadership over the last 2 years certainly has guided and directed this board to do the phenomenal work that not only the board's able to do, but that our faculty and staff were able to do. So thank you. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed working alongside of you.
Sure, one additional. And also has the shortest board meeting on current
Yes.
history, folks.
Okay, well, let's get going then.
First off, thank you to Dr. Oberlander. My tenure as chair was a lot easier because of the work that she did. So I would start with Dr. Oberlander, who's our one employee, and then I would thank each and every one of you. Served on a lot of other boards, not on elected boards, but I can truly say that this is by far and away the best board. I think we've got a lot done. I'm excited for Chair Wasserberger and where she gets to take us next, especially, you know, as we move through accreditation and get to move on to other great things. So, and then thank you to the faculty and staff. The college is just the greatest, and I'm truly honored to be a part of it. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, enjoy your chair.
I will do that.
And
It's
that's,
my-
yeah, it's a beautiful piece of woodwork for sure, but
Thank you.
well deserved. So
Thank you.
enjoy. We're really proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Henning, can we take the roll call, please?
Yes. Trustee Anderson.
Here.
Trustee Day.
Here.
Trustee Palmer.
President.
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Trustee Wasserberger.
Here.
Trustee Williams.
Yep.
Trustee McGrath.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Thank you so much. All right, additions and deletions to the agenda for Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. I'd like to request a motion to approve the agenda for the regular GCCD Board of Trustees meetings
do
held
have it.
today.
I do have a change.
Okay, Trustee Smith.
It's under new business A. We need to change approved selection of successful respondent to request for qualifications for CMAR.
So noted.
I'll second that. His addition to the.
Any discussion? Any discussion? If not, Chair or Trustee Smith, followed by Trustee McGrath, has requested a motion to approve the selection of the CMAR contract under new business. Any other?
It's not the contract, it's just the approval of the selection.
Okay, approval of the selection, sorry, I stand corrected. All those in favor say aye. Aye, motion approved. Any other additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay,
And I would move to approve the agenda as presented, as with the amended.
okay, is there a second?
I second that.
Second.
Okay. Trustee McGrath, followed by Trustee Ellis. Day, yes, Ellis Day. Trustee Day, boy, this is on your struggle bus already. Trustee Day to approve the agenda with the proposed changes. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. So did that. Okay, approval of the consent agenda. I'd like to request a motion to approve the consent agenda for today.
So moved. Second.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I would like to remove one item for discussion, and that would be the financial report, please.
Okay, would you like to make a motion to do that then, trustee Palmer?
So, Chair Westberger, I would like to remove the financial report from the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, it is, motion's been made by trustee Palmer, followed by trustee Anderson, to pull the financials from the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So now I suppose do we need another motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, trustee McGrath, followed by trustee Anderson, have made the motion to approve the consent agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, good enough. So, would you like to go ahead and add the financials, trustee Palmer? Where would you suggest that?
You would be
Right
appropriate
now.
to talk about it right now.
Okay.
Uh, So my question, you want me to stand up there?
Oh, no, I was just pointing to an empty chair front reporter from the news record. Sorry.
That may be going. First of all, my apologies for causing your first meeting to be a little disruptive. That was not my intent. But I would refer the board to page 3 of the financials. And I have talked with Vice President Larson already. And so this is really more of a board philosophical conversation, and I think possibly having the input from our legal counsel as well. You'll see under the net position on page 3, unrestricted, 18 million. It's the last line on that page. And that includes, my understanding is that includes the money that was transferred from the county. And I know internally, the president and her cabinet administration have already set up internal controls for those dollars. I really think, though, that it's important for the board to take a position on restriction of those funds. We were, throughout the dialogue that we had with the county, we had the discussion about how those funds were going to be used. And I think that should be spelled out. And I don't know, and I guess this is my question for Chair Westberg, I guess this is my question for legal counsel Horning, if the board can do a resolution on how those funds are supposed to be spent, or if it's board policy. But I really think that we should take a more formal action as a board to restrict, because it will continue to show up as unrestricted. And for the layperson, those look like dollars that are easily available for the board to spend. And I don't want that impression to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that was my dialogue. I'm fine with the financial report. I just thought this was a good opportunity because it's now on the financial report that we have this discussion.
Thank you very much. Legal counsel Horning, basically, Mr. Palmer had directed, I think, some input from you. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Why don't I begin by failing you? And I'm not certain. I guess I would ask, is the question whether or not they're properly classified or whether the board wants to make them restricted? I would think the latter is permissible. I would like to ask Vice President Larson if she agrees with that. But as to their current classification, whether the propriety of that, I do not know. I suspect that current classification is just fine, but I believe that to restrict them is permissible and appropriate, but I would like to ask Vice President Larson if I may.
Yeah, I would invite Vice President Larson to please come forward.
Chair Wasserberger and trustees, Yes, as trustee Palmer said, no matter what we do internally, they're still gonna show up as unrestricted on the financials because that's how they're reported from GAAP and GASB. However, if you look on your front page, there's a summary of the cash and what we have in savings and what we have in investments and what was transferred from the county. And like you said, we internally know we're not supposed to use that money. But I think a formal statement from the board, either policy or what else did you say? Memorandum? Resolution, that we have to come to you to get approval to move that fund or, you know, how you want to invest it. I think there is a little bit of wiggle room in our policies in terms of what we can do with that money. So I think firming it up and making it more restricted would be good, but it won't change how it's reported on the financials. Does that answer questions? Make any sense?
Answers my questions, but go ahead.
I will say, Chair Wasserberger, from my earlier public service days, on the audit of the county, those ones showed up as restricted because the board took formal action to restrict those accounts. So I guess that's a question that maybe dialogue with the auditors at some point to have.
Sure.
I would certainly though like to have this board's position on how those funds are considered. And it doesn't have to be at this meeting. I thought it was just a good opportunity to have the discussion.
And very much appreciated, trustee.
Chair Wasserberger,
Yes, trustee Anderson.
would it be possible for the finance committee to meet with Vice President Larson and perhaps with input from the auditors to develop a way that we can identify those funds as restricted or somehow designated?
Would be wonderful.
I think that would be the direction, unless there's a dissenting thought amongst the trustees, to have our finance committee, meet Vice President Larson and Dr. Oberlander, as well as consultation with the auditor. And then, depending on their recommendation, we'll see a resolution or receive more education information on that. But very much appreciated, trustee Palmer, that you cited that. I do agree that it does give probably a misnomer to our community about the monies lying there. And I think we desire to make sure that we're fiscally sound and responsible. So to come forward with a resolution or a policy change would be much appreciated. So we'll make sure you're on the next agenda if that gives you enough time. And look forward to hearing more about this. Yes, trustee Anderson.
Chair Wasserberger, should we maybe clarify for the audience that we're discussing the building maintenance funds that were transferred from the county? I think as trustees, we're aware of that, but general audience may not be aware that those are the funds that you're discussing.
I'd appreciate it for that clarification too. An initial committee member as well, so. All right, thank you very much.
So with that, Chair Wasserberger, I move that we approve the financial report.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, trustee Palmer, followed by trustee McGrath, has made a motion to accept the financials as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Did we get the rest of it accepted? Okay, so we get to move on. All right, for the good of the district, any good news from the trustees?
You know, we moved out here in 1973. And we left the Hoosier State. And so I hope everybody watched the football game Monday night. Indiana is no longer the only basketball state as we knew it when we left here. It's now a football state. Go Hoosiers.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your Indiana roots. Trustee Anderson.
I would like to extend my extreme gratitude to the tech department for taking care of my major faux pas by falling for a scam and getting some awful virus that took over a week to get cleared. And so they were very kindly not awarded me a scarlet letter. But I appreciate all that they did.
I would echo, we have an outstanding IT department, for sure. Very available, so.
We're not the only one. Well,
I just want to share that last weekend, Jeff and I got to enjoy a whole gaggle of Wasserburgers at a very large wrestling tournament. They had just under 1,000 little wrestlers at the Casper Event Center. I think we had 13 Wasserburger littles that were there. 6 of them wrestled. We had 4 uncles coaching, 2 grandpas coaching. So from someone who wasn't mobile enough to be able to get down on the floor and offer my assistance, it was just really a fun and rewarding weekend and very special for us as a big fan of wrestling, the other real sport. So. Anybody else? Sure, we all have great things to offer. Okay, well, we want to keep this meeting efficient. Okay, good news from the college. With that, I invite Dr. Oberlander to have a list of celebrations here.
Chair Wasserberger, trustees, this is the time of year where we just love to recognize our faculty and staff. We begin the spring semester with our award ceremony for faculty and staff, and we end with recognition of students at commencement. And so I am going to start because at the center of what we do are our students. And unfortunately, Miranda Finn is not able to be here to recognize our Shaping Wyoming's Future recipients. So I'm going to ask Brenda to join me at the podium. And it's my pleasure to get to introduce her. She's a phenomenal young woman. And so Brenda Kale was nominated for Shaping Wyoming's Student Futures Award, and Miranda Finn was her nominator. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about her. In the words of her nominator, Miranda Finn, Brenda is a student whose determination and talent has transformed not only her life, but the campus community around her. After earning her Associate of Applied Science in Industrial Electrical, Brenda returned to Gillette College to pursue a second degree in English, taking the next step toward a future in technical writing and ultimately law school. Returning to college in her 30s felt overwhelming. Working 3 jobs and raising 2 children as a single mother, she doubted acceptance was possible. I just cried, she said. I didn't think it was possible to make that change. Today, she ranks among the top students English instructor Miranda Finn has taught in her 17-year career, demonstrating her resilience. Brenda's exceptional critical thinking and communication skills have earned her national recognition as a Coca-Cola Foundation Bronze Team Scholar and a place on the All Wyoming academic team. On campus, she leads with purpose as president of both the Creative Writing Club, whose advisor is with us, Lisa Earhart, and the Alpha Nu Psi chapter PTK, giving service projects that bring people together across backgrounds and beliefs. Her leadership encourages others to take initiatives and make a difference. With plans to attend the University of Wyoming's Law School, Brenda continues to embody resilience, leadership, and the spirit of shaping Wyoming's future. Her journey inspires others to pursue their goals with determination and vision. And it has been my pleasure to watch Brenda grow in her leadership and her confidence build over the years that I have known her. I have no doubt she is going to make a phenomenal attorney, and she's going to change her life and the lives of her children and the lives of all those within her grasp. So congratulations. We're so proud of you, and we can't wait to see what you do with your in the future. So please help me congratulate.
Thank you guys so much. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be accepted for this award. Coming from just a few years ago, working 3 jobs as a single mom and not thinking this was even possible, it's such an honor. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that supported me along the way and everyone who supported Gillette College, because Gillette College is a place for people to chase their dreams, not just the kids out of high school, not just the elite, but it makes dreams come true for everyone. So thank you guys so much for being an integral part of my journey.
Wow.
Trustees, we're going to get through all the awards and then we're going to take some pictures. Trustee Wasserberger's crutches will facilitate better with just
We'll just
pictures
do
of
one
the
photo session. I just want to extend a huge congratulations. Being recognized at a state level is really phenomenal. And it's not only Gillette College, it's Wyoming's future award recipient, and you seem to emulate exactly that. You are the future. And so we are very, very proud that you are one of our students and you help keep putting us on the map and keep putting us down the road. So go Cowboys, but go Longhorns, and we're really proud of you. So, great.
Trustees, at this time of the year, we also recognize our year of service award recipients. So this year we had 5-year service awards, 10-year service awards, a 15 and a 20-year service award. And so here to present those are our vice presidents and deans. And so we'll start with Dean Travis Grubb to present the service awards from his department.
Chair Wasserberger, trustees, I'm very honored to present a couple of 5-year service awards. First up, we'll do Jared Vance. Jared Vance is an industrial electrical instructor, tenured faculty. You can come on up there. So Jared's officially worked for the college for 5 years. However, he did start with us as an adjunct faculty on our electrical program and the ELAP program in the evening. With that, during his tenure, he now serves as our faculty senate president. And he's totally revamped the entire electrical program since he's taken over the reins, brought it up to date, formed stronger industry partnerships. So just help me thank Jared for his 5 years of service and look forward to many more.
Yeah, I'm good.
Jared, thank you, Jared, very much. Congratulations, like your Skills USA contribution as well.
And next up, we have Mr. Marty Brown. Marty Brown is our Director of Workforce and Community Development. Marty started his journey with our MSHA department. So he has officially served 5 years with the college, but he's been connected to Gillette College for as long as I can remember, which goes back almost 20 years. Marty has served on our diesel advisory committee. He's helped us when we've gotten into buy-ins covering classes. Always been a strong advocate of Skills USA. He helps judge the state diesel competition. So please welcome Marty Brown, and thank you for your 5 years of service.
Thank you, Marty.
All right, thank you. Yep, I'll try not to talk too long. Those of you guys that know me, I can talk for a long time. But as Travis said there, you guys all know Brett Felt. I've known Brett since he's 5'5". I mean, we're all the way back out the little 2 classroom out by Nanamans. And then that we progressed this way there. So like Travis said, spent a couple of years in MSHA and then 2 years now with workforce development. And tell you guys there, a lot of people have jobs. I have a fun job. I really like what I do. I really enjoy the people I meet, the things we do. But this has been like launching a 747 off an aircraft carrier. It goes out, boom, you don't see it for a while. So right now we're starting to see the tip of that plane. Yeah, we might be burning fuel at a high rate of fuel consumption there, but industry, I met with industry yesterday. I've met with them here this morning. This afternoon, I got another one. We're even talking with people as far as Oklahoma about coming up here and doing stuff with us. The Skills USA, we had a phenomenal first annual banquet last year. This year's looking to be another great setup there. We've also brought on the Rocky Mountain Master Mechanics Association. And what's cool about that is there's people from all around outside the states that are coming here to see what we do. We get lots and lots of compliments there. We got people calling and coming in all the time there. So I'm just really honored to be here in front of you guys. I'm really honored to be here at the college there. And thank you for what you do.
Moving on to our 10-year service award recipients, Vice President Larson will recognize two of the recipients as Alyssa Melinda is away. And then Dean Lindsay Wakefield will recognize one of our faculty members for 10 years of service.
Chair Wasserberger and trustees, I'd like to introduce you, if you two would come up. Marina Rodriguez Castrillon and Lupe. Maria Guadalupe Sanchez, affectionately known as Lupe. Been here 10 years as facility specialist. So obviously you've been around campus, you've seen how clean and well maintained everything is. And these two are significant in that effort. And we thank you so much for your service and your professionalism, and we appreciate your longevity here. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
much.
Very valuable part of our campus.
Thank you so much. When you want to join me, please?
Chair Wasserberger, RN, we're very proud of you. Trustees, President Oberlander, thank you. It's a pleasure to recognize Gwen Reed for 10 years of dedicated service. She's one of the most loyal people I know and a strong advocate for our nursing department and the college. Gwen has consistently given her time generously through committee work at GCCD, as well as service on the State Board of Nursing. As an educator, she creates a supportive, welcoming environment where students feel at ease. We truly thank her for her years of service and dedication, and we also congratulate her as she prepares for a well-deserved retirement at the end of this semester.
Oh, wow. Gosh. When would you like to say anything?
Chair Wasserberger, Board of Trustees, President Walker. It's been an honor to serve at our college to experience the growth pains and to be able to help maybe smooth out some of those rough edges. This is the best job ever. I mean, it's kind of bittersweet departure, but I thank you all for the opportunity to hear me, and it's been a great ride. Great, thank you.
Trustee McGrath.
Chair Wasberg, I would like to point out, I served with Gwen on the hiring committee for the women's basketball coach. I learned Gwen was a professional basketball player. Not many people know, and I think you were the first professional, right? One of the first professional basketball players. It's pretty amazing.
Inducted into 2 Hall of Fames.
Oh, excellent.
Anyway.
So well-rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with Gwen for a long time and can speak to how amazing she was at the hospital, serving as a liaison for our hospital too, for the Sim Center. So quite, no wonder we have such a phenomenal nursing department, so.
Gwen, what Hall of Fames are you inducted into? There's 2.
There's the Naismith basketball thing, that's women's basketball.
Wow.
Massachusetts, yeah, I think that's it.
Pretty cool. Fun facts. Love that.
Okay. Here to introduce 15 years of service is, I'm not sure if Ivana's he's behind me. Dr. Carter is here to present the 15 and 20-year service awards. So Dr. Carter.
I'm happy to be at a place where everybody thinks this is the best job they ever had. So, Chair Wassenberger, trustees, and Dr. Oberlander, I would like to start with somebody who's not here because he is such a dedicated instructor. Rob Livingston is a geology and engineering instructor. And I reminded him today that he was going to be recognized, and he said, well, you just go there and tell him how great I am. So that's what I'm doing. He's a very student-focused, very dedicated instructor and a good addition to our team. So congratulations, Rob.
Thank you, Doc.
So Lisa Arhart is a 20-year veteran here. And Lisa is an English instructor, and she is also very student-focused, very creative in what she does with her classes, and really a super dedicated instructor and employee. So Lisa, would you like to say anything? How great you are?
Thank you. Actually, I wanted to thank Terry Anderson. She hired me 20 years ago to teach English and humanities. And I was coming from kind of a scary place. And she gave me a home here. And this college has been home for 20 years. And watching it grow and become what it is becoming is very exciting. This isn't a job, this is home. So thank you.
It shows. Thank you.
Trustees, we also recognize President's Circle of Excellence Award recipient. These are of the year awards for our classifications of employees. And so we award a classified employee of the year, administrator of the year, and faculty of the year. And so they are all present today. And so would Jolene Torres, Ellen Peterson, and Justin Merriman please stand? I'd love to recognize you. So Jolene has been recognized as our classified employee of the year, and the nominations for these awards are pretty phenomenal. It would take a long time for me to read them because they're wonderful. I'm not going to do that. But just know that each one of these folks were nominated by their peers, and they were selected with last year's recipients and myself reviewing the nominators. I don't know who the nominators are, but I reviewed those with last year's recipients, and it was a very difficult selection this year. Jolene serves as our events coordinator and facilitates all the internal and external events. She also makes sure all the setups are done, both in every building where we have external. Her colleagues have said about her that she is a bright light on campus, and that she is who she is. Her spirit and attitude, that's who she is. She's helpful and does her job with gratitude. And so this campus recognizes her and thanks her for all that she does. And she is so deserving of this award for so many reasons. So please help me congratulate Ms. John. So what was
Would you like to-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Would you like to approach the podium or?
I'm very great. Thank you. I am very grateful and blessed for the award, and I will continue to try to rock events across. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our administrator of the year is Ellen Peterson, Area 59 Director. Now, it was difficult to award Ellen this year, not because of what she does, but she makes the awards at Area 59. And so we had to kind of go around. Anyway, she's so deserving. When we hired Ellen, we said, Ellen, and Travis can attest to this, we said, now drive Area 59, it's ready for you, go. And she has. And she has created community partnerships in every corner of this community, outside of the community. And we're running out of space at Area 59 because of all the work that she has done. She has updated technology. She has created new opportunities for students as young as second grade, all the way through senior citizens. So we're training the lifespan, and we're doing phenomenal work at Area 59. LNH, we had talked about LNH with LNH last week, and we both agreed, gosh, it's really nice to have Area 59 close to LNH. There's certainly strong partnerships there. I also want to let you know that Ellen is recognized at the national level as through the Verizon Innovation Group. It is from her network and her expertise that we have the Verizon Innovation Camp here, the only one in Wyoming. She's recognized as the technology expert, and I believe the technology for those camps now go through you before they're approved. Is that correct?
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. So not only is she recognized here as an expert, but nationally she is as well. So it's my pleasure to present this award to Ellen. She is so deserving, and she is a phenomenal asset to Gillette College. So please help me congratulate Ellison Ellen.
Step forward.
I was actually hoping to avoid the microphone today. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be in charge of Area 59. When I interviewed, it's actually almost 5 years ago. When I interviewed, I said that Area 59 is a great adult playground. That was the thrust of my interview. I even brought toys to play with. We played with 3D printing pens, which have become actually a centerpiece of some of the things that we do over there. And now it's come so far that we just welcomed a brand new metal laser on board, and it's the only one in the area for quite a ways. we've got lots of big plans for it. So we're really excited to be able to continue to be the cutting edge for Gillette and actually in some parts of Wyoming. Thank you for that opportunity. Everybody else has said it, but it's true. I have the best job on the planet. You pay me to come to work each day to play with new toys. Beat that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the faculty member of the year, and again, nominations were phenomenal this year. This was a really difficult selection, but at the end of the day, we selected Dr. Justin Merriman as our faculty member of the year. He has been with Gillette College for about 3 years now, closing in on 3 years. I believe taught adjunct before becoming a full-time faculty member. One of his nominators was very grateful because Justin, prior to the Higher Learning Commission, took time to explain the academic pieces that go along with the accreditation. It was very helpful. His students, of course, are at the center of his work. He does interesting and innovative work both inside and outside when the weather is nice, taking his students to different locations to bring the material he's teaching to life. And so one of his nominators said that he has maintained a positive attitude and continues to show up in meaningful ways for our students and our colleagues. He just loves what he does and he puts students at the center of his work. And so for so many reasons, he is so deserving and I'm just pleased. Also, the faculty member of the year has obligation at commencement and convocation. They become the mace bearer for our ceremonies, and it's an important role to represent the academic mission of Gillette College. So it's with my great honor to award Justin this wonderful award for all he does.
When you're looking for that motivation going into that spring semester, this award goes a long way. I like working at the college. It's probably the best job that I've had, and I've had quite a few. And honestly, it's the team environment. It's so nice when the students say something nice about you, man. It really just keeps you going. And I love all the students I get to teach, and that's why I think I keep doing it. It's cool. So thank you guys. This is super cool. Thanks.
Chair Wasserman, we need to take pictures. And so Maggie, if you can please organize how you want to do this.
The normal stance are all the trustees come out and then we'll do Brenna with trustees and then we'll do service award attendees, whatever the word is, with the trustees, and then the circle of excellence. Sorry, I'm trying to get over a cord.
Still be there. Sun might not.
As usual, my taller gentleman is back.
All the guys in the back. Jump in here, Nello. Jump right in here. There you go. I'll stand to the side of you. Where do you want us?
Yeah, behind, I think.
Trying to come stand right here. So Drake, don't pull it a little bit. Kind of in the center.
Yeah. Get it. There we go.
Thanks.
Thank you. Service number, yeah, thank you. Colors. Supervisor. Do you
want them all at once or one at a time?
All at once.
All at once. All at once. Come on.
Yeah. Excellent.
Thanks. Ladies. Squeeze right in.
Yeah, squeeze right on in.
Come on in.
Yep, there we go. Oh, I've got everybody. Thank you.
Ustedes pueden salir
Much more
y cuando salgan.
No,
No, we got one more.
one more lady. Full. No,
Thank you.
I can. Everybody, like, these two are the exact same height.
Justin, you need to be in the back.
Yes, you do. Should come. In my opinion. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, you too. Thank you. I will do that.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate you.
No.
You're just gonna hear me speak for a second. We need to up our audio on our microphone. I think that is better. Up to, there we go. Now everyone can hear. Yeah. All over.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, yeah.
Well, congratulations to everyone and thank you so very, very much, again, for your service. We'll get to move on then to our organizational report. President Overlander.
Chair Wasserberger, trustees, thank you for the opportunity. As you are aware, the semester started yesterday. Our faculty came back last week. Students returned to campus yesterday. I love when the parking lots are full. People are parking away. They have to park way away on the main building, but parking lots are full, which we love. We're starting to collect data now. We'll start running regular reports and the 10-day count will happen in 10 days. And so we'll have those reports for you. As a reminder, registration is ongoing, especially for concurrent. And then we have the C block. So registration continues and ongoing, but we'll have data for you certainly by the next meeting. Last night at the city council meeting, Trustee Smith and I were present when the city voted to transfer I Hall and Tanner Village property and buildings to Gillette Community College District. That concludes the transfer of buildings and property from the county and the city to Gillette Community College District. So congratulations. Last night at the council meeting, it was a culmination of about 4 years of work. It's actually a culmination of over 50 years of work that has led us to this point. So legal counsels are still working on a little bit of work on the titles. One of the titles is still in the trustee's name. With I Hall, as you remember, that was held by a trustee because of the bonding. So they are working to correct that, but that will be corrected and all the deeds will be complete. Legal counsel, any thought on that? Okay, perfect. The master plan work is continuing. We had an update from MOA on that just a couple of days ago. So they are, and I had to ask Brandon to explain, the cartoon drawings have begun, which really is just the outline, right? The outline of the master plan is starting to come together. We're beginning to schedule our second round of stakeholder meetings. Those will take place at the beginning of February. Then we'll have even more. But the master plan is right on track. We should see that culminate with the master plan and the design, detailed design work with NZ come together early this summer. June, I believe, is the target date, May, June for that. So we're really excited to see that and watch how it comes together. One of the pieces with the NZ lots, as you know, there are 5 lots on that property. When the NZ building was designed, there's some concern about parking. Some of that just has to do with city policy and regulations, ordinances. So what we'll be looking to do sooner than later within the coming weeks is to replat that land into 2 lots. And so Vice President Larson is working on that with our facilities director, Marty Wolf, the best direction on how to get that done because there has to be surveying done and new marks put in the ground. So just know that that's coming. We'll bring that forward to you likely in February so we can move it forward to get that work done as we begin and prepare for the next phase of the NZ. In addition, of course, as you know, we have an Institutional Actions Council meeting coming up with the Higher Learning Commission. We have a deadline of March 13th to present our response to our report from our visiting team, which is very positive. So the vice presidents and I have, and Mr. Humphrey, Dr. Humphrey actually have begun work on that. Most of that work will be done at the executive level with input from the steering committee. There's not too much we have to respond to, but we do want to provide more evidence to show that the one criteria subcomponent of the criterion that we met with concern, that we're working, we're continuing to work, we're continuing to build evidence in that area. So we have set our own deadline of March 1st to have that draft done so we can have it prepared to upload. It has to be in by March 13th. We know that we will be in Chicago March 13th and 14th to appear in front of that hearing. And at this point, those are all the details I have for that group. Dr. Spriggs and I will be meeting with our HLC liaison tomorrow to go over some of the details so we can make sure we're prepared for that hearing. I don't know who will be going to that. I know I will be going, Vice President Larson and Dr. Spriggs will be going. Outside of that, I'm just not sure yet, but as I get more details, I'll certainly keep you posted on that. Just a couple other housekeeping pieces. Mr. Brian Yeager was appointed to the Marnikini Foundation Board. A phenomenal appointment for him. Of course, Marnikini Foundation focuses on veterans. I couldn't think of a more appropriate person to sit on that foundation. He has now attended one board meeting, and so we'll look forward to his work with that really important foundation. I learned yesterday that your Energy City Voices have been nationally recognized and invited to perform at the Heart of America High School Show Choir Nationals invitation in Nashville, Tennessee at the end of February. And so they'll represent Gillette College, host an event, and then perform for about 1,500 high school show choir students while they're there. The benefit, of course, is that national recognition. And so certainly will help with recruiting and promoting our program, not only the Energy City Voices, but our academic programs here at Gillette College. So pretty phenomenal.
Do they need any board of trustee representation or accompaniment down?
No.
to go with them?
Chaperones. Chair Wasserberger, I said to Dennis Gilmore, our director, I said, I'll see if I can go. And he said, well, there's a lot that happens during that event. So you might be able to see us and you might not be able to see us. So anyway, I'm sure it'll be happy for
Wonderful.
anybody to go and help support. So just a couple other things. The governor will be here on Friday, February 13th to present a listening session. This is sponsored with the Chamber of Commerce. Gillette College, of course, is providing the location, but also providing some refreshments during that event. He will be here for 1 hour. He has a very tight schedule that day, but it'll be here in the Tech Center Flex. They're setting for 200 people. So the governor will be on campus for that. And then as a reminder, the Vision Dinner is coming up. You have the invitation from the city. We do need to RSVP. So if you plan to attend, please either RSVP or let me know so I know who's going to be there with me that evening. And then the last thing I will talk to you and remind you about is tomorrow we begin interviewing for our Vice President of Institutional Advancement. We have 3 candidates. Your opportunity to meet and greet with those candidates is in the afternoon. You should have the schedules. It should be on your calendar. Those will take place here in this area, but we would love for you to be at all 3 if you can. It's an important decision. It's an important hire to join our executive team here at Gillette College, but we're excited about this position and have no doubt we'll do great things. So I was neglectful to introduce Dr. Dale Porter. He's a new dean here at Gillette College. Dr. Dale Porter is the Dean of Workforce and Innovation. Dr. Porter will report to this vice president. Right now, he's reporting to me. And so we're navigating the newness of the position, but also welcoming him to not only Gillette College, but to our community. So with that, I'm happy to stand for questions.
Thank you for your report. Any questions for Dr. Oberlander? Trustee Palmer?
Chair Wasserberger, just quickly, you mentioned that replatting with the city of Gillette because of the over the course of several decades, we have talked about a educational zone for the landmass that the college encompasses. And I bring that up because I think it would be good to have a discussion amongst the board as to what that would mean, the pros and the cons of doing that. Because every time we entertain a new facility, we're gonna have to go through this process or potentially go through the process to meet city regulations and codes. If we had a educational zone, which other institutions across the country have, you do it once and you go. Then you decide how many parking spots you need, those kind of things. But there's pros and cons. And so I just offer that at some point, I don't know who you bring in. Maybe if Mr. Horning knows of somebody that would be familiar, or maybe former chair trustee McGrath would know somebody that could come in and talk knowledgeably of the pros and the cons of what that would be. I just think it'd be, we're not done growing. And we're not done with this map that we have for the college. And so I just offer that as a suggestion, Madam Chair, in terms of something to think about for the future.
Okay. Appreciate your foresight.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So I would recommend City Administrator Cole, because of his previous experience, along with Meredith Duval, who's the city planner. I think you start with those two and have that discussion.
President Overlander, then any other trustees have a comment to that?
Do any of the other community colleges in Wyoming have this educational zone? Do we know?
Madam Chair, Trustee Anderson, I don't know, but I'll find out. I will find out.
I think we would really look forward to hearing more about that. So any other trustee comments?
One, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I apologize for the vision dinner. I actually really enjoyed that one, but that's the night of the Bolts Camels game. So I will.
So explain, I mean, the zone. So we take all of our software, right? And that is not encompassed with buildings. So we zone all of that out in terms of what can we build here? What can you use here? So you zone it in plots?
No, it's an all encompassing, and again, my knowledge, trustee Williams, is not the great, that's why I'd like to have somebody come in and explain, because I know there's pros and there's cons. Part of, I know, really at a university level, it's some of the issues because if you're dealing with hazardous materials, which potentially we could be if we're doing some training, there's restrictions on if you're zoned as we currently are zoned, which is somewhere between commercial and I guess it's sort of, but it's a true zone for an educational facility. So you can do the things that you would do at an educational facility that you wouldn't do at another location. But it provides that benefit of only having to be looked at once for existing facilities, but also the expansion of whatever properties or buildings we might put on this footprint. So, it's an opportunity just to have that discussion, whether or not we decide, but it is something I can remember from as far back as Dr. Drum, having a discussion with him because of some of the technology we were looking at and developing.
So trustee Williams, that would be why we would have possibly these representatives from our city come in and tell us whether it's feasible, whether, you know, the value addedness, any cons. So we'll definitely take that. I think that's a great thing and hope to provide a lot more education because again, it's not something I'm highly familiar with. So that would be the opportunity. So we'll put that on future work going forward.
Chair Wasserberger, what I would add is we've had a high level conversation with Administrator Cole at the city. City's open to it. I think it's very timely to expand the conversation with our master planning process coming up. We'll commence with our master planning for the conclusion of that. So we have the next step with what we want to approach. So absolutely, I'm happy to open that conversation again with the city, but also invite these folks to probably a workshop, I would guess.
Okay, that would be great. President Overlander, do you mind if I just add one thing to your report? Dr. Overlander and I attended the Republican Women's Luncheon, and when we were invited there last Wednesday, we actually gave an hour-long presentation about our college, fielded questions, very much ad lib as we went along. Feedback that I got from two attendees after the meeting was that it was very much value added. They were very impressed. I think there was some alignment. Just want to add that because again, I want the rest of our trustees to know and be aware of how much work our president is out there doing, advertising, being an advocate for our college. So very good presentation. And as always, Dr. Overlander responded very much at a high level of providing education for them and obviously always well-spoken. So thank you for dedicating that time for that and accepting that invitation. I think it's important to get the recognition for that. Okay. Any other questions amongst the trustees regarding our president's report? Okay, if not, we are welcoming Cameron Smith today, who's stepping in for Chair Scott Durgan. Cameron has been on the advisory board and serves as vice chair. Prior to letting Cameron go, and then he's going to have to move on with his day. I just want to ask you all that you keep the Durgan family in your prayer, or however you can uplift them, whatever is most comfortable for you. They're facing the terminal illness of Scott's mother-in-law. So he was called urgently to Rapid City. So just keep them in thoughts and prayers. Okay, Cameron, welcome.
Chair Wasser, trustees, thanks for having the advisory board here again today. So we were able to meet last Wednesday again with our monthly meeting. And the thing that came out that I wanted to speak to you guys about was we had Chair Wasser's husband, Jeff Wasberger and Bochis, give us an update and how they're able to, the services they provide, the programs they provide, the scholarships that they provide, and how that benefits the college. And the one thing that stood out to me that I'm sure you're all aware of is the amount of students in this area that are able to graduate with an associate's degree before a high school degree. And I think that's pretty cool. So I think Jeff said there was 23 last year and he expects it to be over 40 this year. And that's going to even grow further in the future with the dual language programs and stuff. So I thought that was cool. Then they talked about the CDL program that the college was able to stand up and how that's being maximized now, I think with 17 students, fully scholarship funded through Bochis, and also the MSHA and the OSHA certifications that students are able to receive from this college. And then we talked about how that's such a resume builder for the employers that to look at in this community. So those students are coming out with that certification and setting them above the rest. So that's what I wanted to bring to the board today, and that's all I had. So thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Any questions that the trustees with or comments would like to present to Cameron? Well, thank you for stepping in, Cameron. You guys are doing a great job again. We just so appreciate what connectivity and just the synergy between the advisory board and the board of trustees to really infuse into our community. I had a wonderful iced coffee with Scott last week and to brainstorm of how we can continue to cultivate more communication, more education between us and just enhance it. Not that there's huge gaps, but we definitely want to be able to enhance that. So looking forward, need to say probably more interaction with you guys, more time commitment, but we would love to be able to get in the minutia with you. So
That's what we're here, and we want to work with you guys.
absolutely. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you very much. Thank you. On to academic and student affairs report. Dr. Barry Spriggs, if you would step forward.
Chair Wasserberger, trustees. In addition to what the president said in regards to the response from HLC candidacy, of course, we continue to work through that document. Even in areas where we just had a little indicator where we can enhance, we are preparing for that. Much work has been done in regards to financial aid and setting up that process. Hopefully, as noted, tomorrow when we meet with Dr. Morrow, we'll understand a little bit better how the merging of Department of Ed and HLC actually works. Okay, so we'll continue to work on that. Past semester, we've done a lot of work, of course, with our policies and procedures within academic affairs and student affairs. A number of procedures have been moved to faculty senate for review in order to bring up through, as well as examining the academic plan, strategic plan, enrollment management plan. We're going through the process of finalizing tenure. This is the second year for those that came over with tenure from NWCCD in order to receive the benefits of tenure here. So that'll be next month. It'll probably come before the board. And as we move forward with all these processes, we continue to enhance them. We find out something new each time, each round, and it's just making us better as we're moving forward to be prepared for that initial accreditation and to have things lined up for that. This morning, I met with the Academic Affairs Council in order to present those 5 programs that was approved to move forward. They will then go to the President's Council and then to the Commission in February in order for us to put them on our participatory program list for the Department of Ed, whenever that process. So we're trying to get ahead of everything because we really don't know all of a sudden when things are going to happen. So we've been setting up a lot of opportunities for ourselves to move forward quickly. Our training sessions and orientations have been established, and we did run an orientation for adjuncts last week. And now we'll be looking at concurrent and dual enrollment instructors. That's one of the more important things also, is ensuring regardless of where we're offering these classes in the high schools or wherever it may be, that everyone has consistent processes and the quality of instruction is consistent across the board for those programs. So in addition, we're venturing into our hybrid instruction, and that has been implemented. We'll be focused on a lot more of that within the summer months. That will allow students to have a day on campus as well as a day online. We don't offer totally online program-specific courses, but our general education, we're going to really test and see where students are, because we still believe that they need contact. They still need the face-to-face, even though they may prefer not to be face-to-face. I mean, it's definitely data will show you that face-to-face, particularly with different age groups, increases the likelihood of success there. Also within Veterans Services, at the end of the year, they adopted 2 families for Christmas, and students spent over $1,000 in gifts and purchases and wrapping and everything for those particular families, as well as they have established the Veteran Student of the Year Award and the Veteran Volunteer of the Year Award. So that continues. And one of the major things, even with our residence life, we're really trying to recognize students consistently. And, having that resident of the month, resident of the year, resident of the semester, so that the students also feels that we're recognizing what they're doing. And in turn, it is a tool for retention also. Our first year seminar, I know that Bo spoke with this group last semester or so. We did run a pilot program with 3 classes last fall. And we're getting a lot of feedback, as well as this is one of the biggest courses. The seminar is one of the biggest courses of really retaining students, bringing them in, teaching them how to study, teaching them that whole piece of sense of belonging. Join the clubs, join the organizations, know what's going on out there. And with our student activities that you did hear briefly about before, last semester is really the start of how we want to do it. It was over 62 activities over the course of the semester affiliated with the Student Activities Office. And we averaged probably 40-some students each activity, which is extraordinary, really. And we're catching those commuters even that are coming through actually on their way to class and everything. So I just spoke with Chair Steve yesterday, and there's a lot more that we can do, but we're doing great of making students feel that they actually belong here, and finding things beyond you have to study, or find other things to do to keep them active and to keep them moving forward. Our welding program doubled enrollment this year. We did add an additional fall cohort. And one of the more important things that I really targeted last semester before students left was trying to get these students that were eligible to be registered for the spring to be registered before they left. And we had probably 85% of our students that were eligible to be registered for the spring registered, which really has a big domino effect as to cutting classes. In other words, do we have enough students in these classes, or do we need to consolidate classes? So students came back this semester with a sense of that I do know my schedule. I know this course is still going to be held. Faculty felt better knowing that I know what I'm teaching. So there's efforts across the board in regards to that, of retaining those students and getting them registered and getting them to the point where when they leave, they actually know what's going to happen when they come back, instead of them coming back and like all of a sudden their world's turned upside down because I was planning on working on that day. Now I have to move my class that day. So we actually have been doing great in that response to those needs of the students. The final area that I would like to speak about is the professional development area, which we've put a lot of time and energy and effort into there. We did actually, and faculty and staff continue to capitalize on that. A number of faculty and staff over the past semester attended national conferences. We had national presentations by faculty from National Association of Community College for Entrepreneurship to Association of Career and Technical Education. We have staff participating in women in higher education leadership programs, as well as the student government, of course, and their mentors participating in American Student Government Association, statewide conferences and things of that nature. So we'll continue to not only push the professional development, but where we saw on our first day back, faculty in the afternoon presented what they learned at these conferences, which really brings that loop around as Senate is really trying to establish that teacher learning center. So we've been really happy with that. Overall, in academic and student affairs, we've been using our data to inform our next steps, ranging from the schedule, what courses, looking at fill rates, targeting areas for recruitment and strategies, of course, for retention, setting up our own student information systems and our catalogs, the annual class scheduling process, ensuring the sequence of courses are being ran. So we as a division, we've improved, honestly, just based on time. And which then, of course, helps the organization improve overall. And then, of course, it leads to more opportunities and avenues for student success. So we continue to learn and we'll continue to learn and we'll continue to grow, but with the target of students being successful is what we're all about. So open up for any questions or points of clarification that you have at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a hefty, robust report. Wonderful things happening. Trustee Williams.
Dr. Spriggs, we're going to be accredited here shortly. Now, have we got, I'm sure we have, a group of people that's taking a look at courses that we can add as we become accredited? And so, do we have some idea of what we can add?
Yes, we have a multiple triangulation of that. In other words, we have the advisory board looking at programs is one example. We have our curriculum committee, which is constantly looking at programs that we may have taken through, first of all, that we may not move through to higher learning commission. We're also looking at programs that that Sheridan has, like we just did with the athletic training and exercise science, that we may want to put on that participatory program. Additionally, we're looking at programs once we are accredited through that curriculum committee. Keep in mind that faculty is the one who runs the curriculum and that piece of it. So that curriculum committee, every year, they're doing that, really looking at through a feasibility study, using Lightcast to look at projections. We also use Hanover. In order, at this point here, we're looking at what's that next step in the bachelor's program. So all of it is converging with multiple committees. We have a subcommittee in the advisory board that looks at program. Curriculum committee is the real one that's responsible institutionally. But then we do have an external source that provides this information. And now we're focused on the bachelor's level. What is going to be our bachelor's degree, where we're going to set up whenever we get to that point of that substantive change and everything.
Thank you.
Thanks for that question, Trustee Williams, because that's something that's been brought up to me several times about what are we looking for the future? Because the planning is going on now. I've been reassured. So thank you. Other questions for Dr. Spriggs? Trustee Palmer.
I exclaimed out of turn. However, I just want to say, I'm sure to Dr. Spriggs, wow, thank you. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of that in that report. There's a lot of detail that could just be one presentation in itself. But I'm really pleased to hear about the professional development. The faculty is taking advantage of that. I'm pleased to hear about the expansion of the welding program. I'm pleased that students have a track coming back for that second semester and they know where they're going to be. Just a lot of good stuff. So thank you.
I think it's an indication as we're moving forward, more people within the institution being part of. And the more people is part of, the more you can actually do and really refine. So I know, we're really happy as to the faculty and staff during this process, jumping on and really being part of the participation as we're moving forward compared to a couple of years ago. And it allows us to be more intentional as well as more intense as we're moving forward.
Please extend our thanks to the faculty and staff and ultimately the student senate. Great report. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, excellent. Now, one of the best parts of our meeting is our student senate report. President Tiffany.
Good afternoon, you guys. So I want to start off with both sheets I placed in front of you guys. The Student Senate is excited to share the launch of a new campus initiative for this semester. It is called the Leadership Spark Series. This speaker series is designed to foster leadership development not only among students, but also across our faculty, staff, and greater campus community. The inspiration for the series came from my experience attending the Fall American Student Government Association Conference in Florida, where powerful presentations and shared experiences reignited my passion for leadership and service. To bring that same motivation back to our campus, the Student Senate developed a series of short one-hour seminars that provide an accessible glimpse into the impactful learning and inspiration we experienced at the conference. We are proud to announce that Dr. Oberlander will serve as our inaugural speaker on February 16th at 11:30 in the main commons area. We are excited to listen and learn about what she has to offer and share about her extensive knowledge and leadership experience. Following her presentation, we will welcome Dr. Michael Cador, one of the most inspirational speakers from the Florida Conference. Dr. Cador is a former NFL and professional Canadian football player who transitioned into law enforcement and later into higher education. He currently serves as the Executive Director of Community Engagement at Eastern Florida State College. The series will conclude with a presentation from a member of the Gillette College Board of Trustees, offering yet another valuable leadership perspective. The Student Senate is proud to offer these meaningful learning opportunities and warmly invites the Board of Trustees and the entire college community to attend and participate in this Leadership Spark series this semester. For more information, feel free to ask me or look around campus where we will have flyers posted all around. Moving on, Student Senate will begin the semester with our first General Assembly held on February 5th. We have been holding our own meetings beforehand as well. Looking ahead, Student Senate applications will open on Monday, March 9th. Recruitment efforts will take place throughout the semester with the final push prior to spring break, during spring break, and the Friday following students' return. All application and election dates have been added to campus calendars to ensure visibility and accessibility. Campaigning will run for 1 week, beginning March 28th and continuing through April 5th. Student Senate elections will take place April 6th through April 10th, with elections results announced on Monday, April 13th. In addition to recruitment efforts, Student Senate continues to focus on student engagement and support. A career closet flash pickup is scheduled for March 2nd, providing students with access to professional attire. We will also host a Student Senate Meet and Greet Part 2 on March 9th from 11 to 1 p.m., giving students an opportunity to connect with current Senate members and learn more about involvement opportunities. Student safety remains a priority for the Student Senate. The Safety Committee will be hosting a student safety event on February 17th from 12 to 1 p.m. in the presentation hall, in collaboration with Officer Muscle and Greg Bush. An additional personal safety event will be held on Thursday, February 22nd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., also in the presentation hall led by Officer Muscle. The Student Senate remains committed to supporting student involvement, safety, and leadership development throughout the semester. Thank you for your continued support, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions that the trustees would like to offer up? Trustee Anderson.
I would like to just comment on what change you have made in your speaking appearance. You were so hesitant the first time you came. You're much more confident now, and it's so exciting to see you grow like that.
Thank you.
Chair Walker, I would add, I love the Spark sessions. I think that's a great idea. I think that's great for your folks.
Thank
Really
you.
well done.
Really innovative and motivating. Planning on coming to both more than likely. If you may.
Chair Wasser, I just want to add, I have gotten to work with Tiffany this semester. We have a mentorship relationship. And I think, and Tiffany can certainly speak to this as well, but the opportunities that we provide students at Gillette College, the opportunities that we have provided Tiffany to attend national conferences has really changed her life. And I think she would tell you that as well. As trustee Anderson noted, her confidence, she's exuding confidence, but she's also considering different career paths now that maybe she had never considered before. And it is through those opportunities when students engage and when they engage in leadership on campus that it really does change their lives. And so I just applaud her for her bravery and her courage to continue to show up. We've dealt with a few hard things over the semester for leadership, right? And so she has navigated those successfully and certainly has learned a lot about herself in the process. So she's been a joy to work with. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. I can say I've never even thought about getting into higher education until I actually push myself to do it. And it's something like other people were saying how it's the best jobs they've had. And I agree. Just this as a student makes learning even funner. But also to add to that, we are also so we attended in person in Orlando, the conference, and we're actually providing the same conference just online here at the school for students as well. So students will be able to attend that, and it's something that Student Senate is sponsoring for students to come in and learn from.
That's great. Wonderful things. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, next on our reports, climate assessment overview.
Chair Wasberger, trustees, as you know, we did a second administration assessment survey. This was done 2 years ago. We brought back the same consultant, Dr. Kathy Cox, who joins us online there in the corner. We had planned to bring her the first administration of this survey. We had planned to bring her campus. The weather didn't allow her to fly in. And so we just were preemptive and said, let's just bring it in online. So this will be the first presentation. We'll share this presentation with the full campus as well as the full report. So Dr. Cox, welcome. We're glad you're here. And so the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Sorry I'm not there in person, but it's better to be safe than get stuck in the weather one way or the other. So I appreciate you all having me. Dr. Oberlander has the detailed report on the assessment, and so I'm just going to give some highlights of what we've learned. And I want to take us back just for a second to 2023, and that's when we first conducted an organizational cultural assessment. You're really at the beginning of this journey of really building a new college. It was a bit like you had arrived at a tunnel and could see the light. And there was a little bit of a lack of consensus as to what that light at the end of the tunnel meant. Some thought that it was a new day and it was very exciting. Others thought that it was a train. And maybe some other folks at the time really kind of thought that the lights were showing that they were having an out-of-body experience or maybe kidnapped by aliens because what you were doing was really unique. And I think at some points, people probably experienced all three. And so, now we are here today, and obviously the accreditation journey is not over, and your overall journey never stops. You're always building, improving, striving for success. But it was a good time to check in on the culture. And I think just even listening to all of the amazing things that have been discussed in this meeting is just really impressive. And so we conducted again, we used the organizational cultural assessment instrument, which is the same instrument used in 2023. We had an online survey participation rate of 43%, which is really, really good. And that was compared to 28% back in 2023. At the time, there was some grumbling that it wasn't a great participation rate, even though it is 28% for a survey participation is actually quite good. But what we see is that the results were fairly consistent in a lot of ways. Our participation rate, people could also participate in a in-person, in a virtual interview, and that was down a bit from our 2023. But to give you a little bit of a sense of what we've learned is that overall, that people felt that the dominant culture, so what's sort of the most, present, important element or present quadrant, as we call them, in 2025. And you'll see that I've highlighted the top scoring dimension by year, but for both current, and then people would also talked about in the survey that they were talking about what they preferred. And so in 2023, the most dominant quadrant was compete. And which is just a hot reality in higher education, right? It's given the volatile market for prospective students, institutions won't survive without being competitive. We need to demonstrate their value, explain why students should choose their institution. And then so that was the most dominant in 2023, and it was followed closely by control, which is policies and procedures. And those two quadrants reversed their positions in 2025, with control as becoming more dominant, followed by compete. And the control really has an internal orientation. It focuses, as I said, on structure, procedures, efficiency, and predictability. While that compete has that external orientation, which focuses on results, production, and goals. And what's kind of interesting when it comes to Gillette is that control also has a strong external focus due to the accreditation process, due to your commitment to the Gillette community as a whole. And so it's really interesting where those two things are really both an internal and external. The third ranked quadrant is collaborate. And a high score in a collaborative culture indicates that an organization is a pleasant place to work. Employees share much of themselves and commitment is high. And so the increase, however, it's slight, is important because climate often impacts the collaborative quadrant. And interviewees overwhelmingly discussed that the climate had improved, that they were feeling a greater sense of ownership from our last time we looked at it. And so we've seen that our create quadrant, which is really the innovation, being creative, developing new things, that score declined slightly from 2023. But that is obviously an essential part of building Gillette College. And interviewees really had a level of enthusiasm and I think commitment, maybe not seen as much in 2023. And there was much more of this sense of we don't want to recreate something that already exists. We don't want to recreate Sheridan College. We don't want to recreate institutions of, other former institutions of senior leadership, that they want to create a college that makes sense for their students and the community. And so there was a lot of forward-thinking conversations that I had, which I thought was really exciting. And oftentimes people say, well, what's the best culture? And there really isn't one because each dimension has its strengths and weaknesses. An effective higher ed organization is really adaptable because different dimensions take precedent at different times and each one impacts the others. And so, sometimes we see, for example, startup companies that score really high in the create dimension, but they don't do well in control. And then that's often why they don't succeed. They don't struggle. So you kind of have to live in all of these. But the OCAI looks at this from the perspective of 6 aspects. And I'm just going to touch on those really quickly in terms of how they score, because I think that there's some interesting data to look about that. So one of the things that it looks like is the dominant characteristics, right? So what are the attributes that people see in the organization? So control, like in 2023, was identified as the dominant characteristic. Formal policies and procedures, that was driving the work, driving the environment. And compete and collaborate yielded closer results than in 2023, which I think might indicate that a greater understanding of that need to compete, while also recognizing that employees are critical to student success. They affect recruitment, retention, and graduation. So I think that that's a really important result to understand that. I think we'd like to philosophically think that, higher education is on this own hill, but we have to compete. And that's the market reality. So it's a little bit concerning that Collaborate has dropped to 3rd in the quantitative results. Some of the interviewees felt that the need to control at times extended beyond practical realities. It might be inherent in some leadership styles. And so it's always important to keep in mind that control for just sake of control can be demoralizing. And it can limit that create piece. It can limit that innovation in that initiative. So there was a lot of talk about the fact that people have seen more communication. Another aspect is organizational leadership. So that looks at leadership styles and approaches. And overall, the leadership is focused on compete. So how do you succeed in the market? Followed by control. And they're least likely to embrace collaborate. And so both the compete and collaborate quadrants have a point difference greater than 10 between the current and preferred. So that's always something to pay attention to. And what I think is interesting when you look at the visual charts too of how close these results were from 2023. Now, the 2025 interviews, they didn't express that same level of angst about becoming independent as they did in 2023. And I think that there's a few things related to that. There's a lot of new employees who don't necessarily have that history. There's also a greater understanding and ownership of the process. That HLC visit was really key in really getting people to say, wow, look at what we've accomplished. I think that that was such a huge thing for that. So I think that in 2023, I think there was a lot more talk about sort of us versus them mentality. Sometimes senior leadership and employees, they weren't aligned with each other. I think that they're more aligned in 2025. There's still an opportunity for growth. But again, there was much more of people being on the same page with that same kind of commitment. The next aspect was management of employees, and that focuses on how employees are treated. What's the work environment like? And again, that compete was the dominant quadrant, and that the survey participants really indicated that employees, they experience high demands and that leadership considers competitiveness and achievement is necessary. And then again, that second was control, focusing on job security, conformity, predictability, stability, all those things that you need in a relatively new and burgeoning college. I think that if there was one major shift that was identified in the 2025 assessment compared to 2023, is that employees are experiencing less belonging uncertainty than they did in 2023. Again, there is that sense of ownership, that sense that they're part of the process, that they're part of this great community, that there's a sense of pride in Gillette's development was much more evident in 2025, which I think, again, is a great process. Another aspect is what's called the organizational glue. It's what holds the organization together. It's why do people work at Gillette? Why do students attend it? And compete was the dominant quadrant in this one, which I think is a little bit surprising. It was second in 2023. Compete, it emphasizes achievement and goal attainment, and even just listening to the incredible things that people have done in this meeting shows that the achievements of Gillette College is really profound and really, I think, inspirational. Control ranked second and is obviously part to maintain smooth operations. So the organization clue might be the most crucial dimension to focus on. Collaborate is still the preferred option by a lot. And so when having a collaborative environment, when that's the organizational glue, it means that the organization is successful and it's functioning. Employees are loyal. There's mutual trust. People are committed to the organization. So in some ways, I'm a little bit surprised by these results because in talking with people, they are so deeply, deeply committed to Gillette and its students and this pride in their contributions. There's two other emphases that I just want to cover. One is strategic emphases that drives the organization's mission and purpose. And the organization currently, according to the survey, emphasizes permanence and stability, efficiency, control, smooth operations. It's looking at how to be competitive. What do you need to be competitive in terms of the student market? What do you need to do to meet those target goals to proceed through accreditation? And so Collaborate increased from 2023. So we've seen an uptake. There's still a pretty significant gap there between current and preferred. And it's significant that it was the lowest ranked in both years, but the most preferred. So I think that's something to keep in mind. I think you're about halfway through your strategic plan. And so I think it's always, to keep that in check as you go through that experience as well. And then the last aspect, and I think that this is fascinating, is that the criteria for success examines how the college defines success. What's rewarded, what's celebrated, who's promoted, who's dismissed, and the efficiency. So it looks kind of at, the control aspect, which it came in at top in both 2023 and 2025, really means efficiency, dependable service, smooth procedures is how we define success. Now, collaborate tops compete as the second quadrant. So it moves up. And the increase is pretty profound. It moves up by 8 points. And again, this demonstrates that ownership and pride in the work. And the reason why I think this is really fascinating, besides just kind of being a geek about this kind of stuff, is that if you look at the snapshot, so here's a snapshot of the results, and this is in the report that Dr. Oberlander has, that looks at the 2023 and the 2025 results. And what's interesting is that collaborate is the third ranked quadrant for dominant culture. So it comes in third, and it's the third or the fourth for 5 of the 6 aspects. And it's the preferred in each aspect by a lot. But what's interesting is that second quadrant in criteria of success is collaborate. And so I think it's just a really interesting result. And if we look at this just a little bit closer, these are the statements that the survey participants answer when it comes to collaboration. And so that talks about the organization's a very personal place. It's like an extended family. People seem to share a lot of themselves. The leadership in the organization is generally considered to exemplify mentoring, facilitating, or nurturing. The management style in the organization is characterized by teamwork, consensus, and participation. The glue that holds the organization together is loyalty and mutual trust. Commitment to this organization runs high. The organization emphasizes human development, high trust, openness, and participation persist. So those 5 come in at 3 or 4, but then when we come in at 2 for how do we know that we're successful, the organization defines success on the basis of the development of human resources, teamwork, employee commitment, and concern for people. So in some ways, I think that the key takeaway of all of this is if collaborate's the second most important dimension in how the organization defines success, why is it lower elsewhere? And I think that that's just a great place for the college to have some conversations about. And it could be because in those aspects, people are defining success and achievement in those different aspects differently. But if you're really looking at that criteria of success, the fact that collaborate comes in at number 2 is so important and so needed to maintain good employees, to recruit and maintain students. And so I think that this, for me, I think that next sort of great conversation point for the college is to really look at, we're excited about the fact that that comes in at second, but why is it lower elsewhere? And so for me, I think that that's really a great place for the college to be in and a great discussion point. So that's a little bit of the 30,000-foot view of the assessment, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cook, for your tabulation of the information and your sharing of it. Trustees, what questions would you have?
I think we have a lot of information to ponder.
Yeah.
So, as trustees and Dr. Oberlin, what steps do we take? So where do we go for assessment? So, I mean, that's my question. I'm not sure we can answer it now, but.
No, I don't think we can.
Well, obviously, our leader, our president, well, I'm sure we'll be formulating next steps based on this. Dr. Oberlander, will we be getting a copy of this?
Absolutely. So what will happen, Chair Wasserberger, after today's done, we'll make sure you get a copy of the presentation and the full report. Of course, the video will be posted on the bridge for the employees as well as with the full report. So as we did last time after this, leadership will take a look. We'll debrief this likely with our group that, the cultural awareness group that we stood up the last piece, and have those conversations. What do you see as the next step? Let's deep dive into these results. Let's start the conversation, as Dr. Cox pointed out, with the very last question she posed in her presentation. I think that's where the conversation begins. And what's the next steps? What are the next pieces? I think there's been a lot of work done over the last 2 years. As Dr. Cox pointed out, there's been a lot of positive change, a lot of positive work done. And now we just go to the next step because we want to keep that momentum going forward. So.
I would certainly echo that. I mean, with whatever challenges or opportunities you're having at the time is going to help drive where you're at in those different quadrants at moment in time when you do the survey, your responses. And it's not to diminish that it's been, it has carried a lot of stress. And stress isn't necessarily, it shouldn't be necessarily be seen as negative. But the transitioning, getting to be a standalone community college has been very, very stressful. My cowboy son, who, you know, I just really admire his entrepreneurship abilities. He always has a saying that it says, you know, you need to be used to be comfortable. You need to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I think that's kind of where we're at today at Gillette College. I think there was a lot of fear of the unknown to begin with. And I think if we just self-reflect, and I think that is, that's okay. We need to get used to being uncomfortable because times are always going to be changing. And my dad said, if you're stagnant, then you're just dying. So we got to keep moving. Sure.
When and how will the results from the survey be communicated to staff, and kind of timeline and when? I mean, it's great that we do the survey, but now we need to, part of the next step is communicating to the people that took the survey.
So Chair Wasserberger, as mentioned, what will happen after today is this video will get put up on the bridge along with the report. And that'll happen either today or tomorrow. We've got to make sure they edit the video. We don't want to put the whole board meeting up on to match this. So that takes a minute to edit. Dr. Cox, we were going to have her present to the full faculty and staff. Scheduling just didn't work out, unfortunately. So yep, so after today, after this is done, that'll go up. The faculty and staff were acknowledged and are welcome back that this had taken place, and that we're pleased that we have these results, and we're looking forward to sharing it with them. And then we have a cultural awareness working group that looked at the first set of results. And so we'll pull that team together again and start going through these results and then make changes to that committee as appropriate. So.
Thank you, Trustee Jane.
Thank you for your earlier remarks, and I want to really thank Dr. Cox for the presentation. It is one point in time that these are measured. And it's also, and we all know this, and yet it's the people in the positions that are experiencing a lot of change. And that change is not always easy, not always pleasant, and yet we're growing. And this is just, to me, this is a new institution. And individuals are used to maybe a certain way of things being done, or have become accustomed to a certain way that things are done. But this is healthy. It's healthy to have an assessment done. It's healthy to take a look at what are some things to work on, to bring forth. And I just hope this process continues, because as this institution grows and becomes accredited, and I think at some point has some more semblance of leveling off in some of the things that are happening. Because we've thrown an awful lot at our president, and at the cabinet, at the faculty, at the staff, and they've responded quite well. And yet we're still going through this change. And so I'm excited about seeing that we continue this process, and then also what it looks like in 4 years or in 6 years. Because I think this institution will also grow with that. So just a thought.
One other thing I got out of the presentation was the increase in participation. Most surveys that I deal with, to go from the 23 or 23% participation to the 43% participation is a huge increase, and that reflects on, the involvement and, how the employees feel. If they don't care, they don't take the survey. So to see that increase was a good indicator.
I think the faculty thanked them for their participation and engagement. It's crucial to our success. So, well, thank you, Dr. Cox, very, very much for your time. Great presentation. Gives us some things to absolutely work on, which is good. We like the challenge. So, and moreover, we really cherish our faculty and staff. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. It's a really great group. And so I love to watch your progress. So thanks, everybody.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right. There is no old business unless somebody wanted to throw it in. So should have done at the beginning of the meeting. On to new business. All right. I would request a motion to approve the selection of Sampson Construction as successful respondents to requests for qualifications for the purposes of negotiation for contract for construction manager at risk, otherwise known as CMAR, for the Indy Applied Learning Center to provide pre-construction services and possible construction management services.
So moved.
Second.
And moved by trustee Palmer, seconded by trustee McGrath. In the so read motion, is there any discussion?
I have. Okay, go ahead. I really have concerns about this in terms of the chosen company. In terms of what they have done for our community in Campbell County. And I know Van Ewing has supported many things up here in Gillette in relationship to the senior center. I know what we did on the senior center. For the school district, in terms of the buildings they built for the school district. And of course, they've built a building for our college. And I guess I'm concerned because there will be a lot of people that will be employed from Campbell County. And if we don't go with them, then a lot of those people will come from somewhere else. And we have to support our community. I mean, we're Gillette, we we're Campbell County. And I appreciate what the group did. And my question to them is, why did we not choose Van Ewing as our CMR? Why did we not do that? I mean, we all know that they've been involved with many projects within this area, within this county, within this city. And so that's my question is, why did we not go with Van Ewing?
Thank you for the question, trustee Williams. We had several representatives, which was provided to us in the pre-president report of who served on that committee. But trustee Palmer, you've raised your hand. If you'd like to respond.
I served on that committee. I guess I'll pose a question back to trustee Williams real quick, and I don't mean to be facetious, but how many committees have you served on that select the CMA?
How many have I served on? You know, through time, I served on a few minor committees.
Choose the building contract.
With Campbell County School District.
Have you always chose the local vendor?
Geez, Bob, at my age, you don't always remember.
Well, I guess the point I would like to make is, number one, we had 8 fabulous submissions. From that 8, we had 4 that were chosen for interviews. And the one individual, I know Trevor's here, Van Ewing was one of those. And they did a great job. This is not an easy decision that this committee had to make. At the end of the day, you wish you could take a little bit of this one, and a little bit of that one, and a little bit of this one, and a little bit of that one. But you can't. You have to choose And the committee had to make that decision in terms of what to bring forward for the consideration of the Board of Trustees to move forward. It's not easy. Trevor, and you and I have gone back a long way, you know, you and I, but you've not always done all the county buildings. You've not done all the school district buildings. That opportunity will present itself again. At this point, the consensus reached with that committee was that Sampson was the best choice at this point to move forward with this particular project. Not to take away anything from what any of the other contractors have done. The other point I would clarify though, Trustee Williams, is that there will be local hires. All of the CMARs that came in, all of the CMAR candidates that came in will have to hire and will hire those subcontractors. So the electrical work, the HVAC work, the cement work, the iron work, all of those probably more than likely will all be done by local firms. And that's an important part of this process. I wish we could always just say it's going to be the local vendor, but that's the reason that we go out for bids, that we go out for requests for qualifications, and that we ask firms to come in. Not an easy choice, but I stand with the committee and the consensus that was reached that at this particular juncture in our time, this particular organization, the ones on the motion to be approved, is the one to move forward. And I hope that Van Ewing and the others will come forward again. If you think about it, the group that's done the most buildings on campus is Grotehouse. And Grotehouse didn't make the list either. They did this building, they did the Pronghorn Center. We had great, I guess I go back to the point is we had great submissions. We had great people that came forward. And at the end of the day, the committee came up and reached a consensus. Sampson was the one they chose to move this forward. I hope that helps answer your question.
I mean, what were some of the in that decision process? I mean, I understand, when you put a bid in, but on some of the perks for those that was awarded.
I don't know if they're perks necessarily, but
perks is a bad word.
I think the ability to manage this project with other projects that they've got on their plate at the time. The knowledge, Sampson did I refer to it as South Campus, but they did the Thunder Basin High School. So they're familiar with this area, as were several others. The architect has a good relationship, I think, with the one that's being represented. They just finished a project with them. And I think having some of the horsepower that they had in terms of being able to watch this project as it develops over time, and some of the technology that they brought to the table along with that. Again, it was not a slam dunk decision. It was maybe one of those considerations, but I think those are some of the ones. And I think Vice President Larson was part of that. The president was part of that as well. Mr. Durgan was, Mr. Olson from the city. And so I think at the end of the day, they just felt all of those together was what made Sampson the choice to move forward.
President Larson, do you have, Vice President Larson, I appreciate you being willing to step in and answer questions as well. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Chair Wasserberger, I apologize for coming up before being called. I just had a quick synopsis of the timeline. It may or may not be helpful or relevant. I can share if you'd like. Okay.
I think if that's helpful to the trustees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna read it because I don't want to forget anything. We did go through a comprehensive and methodical process. And this is a quick synopsis of what we did to choose the CMAR for the pre-construction phase of this NZ building. On November 12th, the RFQ was released after many discussions with State Construction Department, the architects, the NZ Executive Committee. We followed state procedures and used state documents because the building was approved through state appropriations. Qualification statements were due December 9th.
and the executive committee met to review all the submittals and rank them according to evaluation criteria that was part of the RFQ document. The committee consisted of trustee Palmer, President Oberlander, advisory board chair Scott Durgan, Gillette assistant city engineer Matt Olson, facilities director Marty Wolf, architect Brandon Daigle, and me. Aside from myself, there were several years of expertise around the table with a variety of public building projects under their belt. From December 9th to the 12th, the committee reviewed all the proposals. And on 12/12, the committee met and determined the top 4 to move to on-site demonstrations. Those 4 were Grote House, Van Ewing, Dick Anderson, and Sampson. And they were given the matrix at that time as to what they would be evaluated on. December 18th, we heard presentations from each of these 4 construction firms, during which time we addressed questions that they had been given. And they were then ranked according to the interview matrix. On December 19th, the committee met again and decided that the best fit for the CMAR for this pre-construction phase was Sampson. So that's kind of a summary of the top. But yeah, they were given the questions, a template before coming in to do the presentation of what we wanted to see and what we wanted to hear. And as trustee Palmer said, they all did a really good job. Really was just about best fit for this particular build.
Sure, Westbrook.
Yes.
I would speak to 2 things. I go back a long ways with Van himself when I was on the chamber board and gained an immense amount of respect for him, and go even further back with Trevor and his family and what they do for Van Ewing. I do not want to discount that at all. They've been huge supporters in the community. I would also say, while I would love for them to be always the winner, or anybody else for that matter, whether it's Powder River Construction or anybody else that does work. I think they all have community support. I think local contractors will be afforded the first availability to work. I think we as a board, going back to the letter, have that fiduciary obligation to, continue to support our community. I appreciate everything that Van Ewing done, but what I don't want to do is discount what the committee did, who spent the time, the effort, the energy. We didn't do this as a board. And I think at times when you're on a committee, you have to let that committee do their work. And that doesn't excuse Trevor from having the right to question it and not to fight for it. I would hope that he would, and I would hope that he did, and I appreciate that he did. The foundation just listed some land, and I wasn't chosen as the real estate broker to do that. I'm okay with it. It doesn't take away from the fact that I want the business, or in the future, I'd love to have that business on a private, or how much I support the college or being on this board or support the foundation. So I also hope that if we do approve, Sampson, that Van Ewing would not discontinue their support of the college. And I would, as trustee Palmer said, I would look forward to working with them in the future. I personally am going to go with what the committee recommended, because I think they put in the time, effort, and energy for it, and they chose that. And again, not to discount the questions, I think this is a great discussion, but that's my thought on this.
Thank you. Ready to call for the question? Go ahead and move on. So we have a motion in front of us. Would anybody like me to read it again? No, okay. All those in favor then of the motion, say aye. Opposed, same sign?
No.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, next item of business is the approval of the depositories. So I would request a motion to approve First National Bank and the Security State Bank as authorized depository institutions for Gillette College funds for the 2026 calendar year.
So moved.
Right, moved by McGrath, seconded by Anderson. Is there any discussion? Nope, if not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Designation of newspaper of record. I would request a motion to designate the Gillette News Record as the official newspaper for the one-year term of 2026. Dr. Day. Boy, I'm giving you a lot of names today. Trustee Day has
I
made the
would
motion.
heartily second that.
Thank you, trustee Palmer. Any discussion? All those indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. All right, committee reports. So, as my first semi-official duty, I had, as trustee Smith put it to me, delegated, voluntold to, help with the board committee assignment. So with that, Vice Chair, Smith, I will give that to you.
Thank you, Chair Wasberger. I was directed to get the committee's assignments for my recommendation on each of the boards we have, and this is what follows. So for BOCES, I recommend trustee Anderson and trustee Day. For Finance Committee, I recommend trustee Palmer, trustee Anderson, and trustee Smith. For WACT, I recommend trustee Day and trustee Smith. For ad hoc, the Governance Committee, I recommend trustee McGrath, trustee Wasserberger, and trustee Smith. The NZ Building Design, I recommend trustee Palmer and trustee McGrath.
Okay.
And I believe that covers most all.
One thing I would just like to add as the chair is if you, oh, I think you forgot finance, or did you get?
I got the headlines.
Oh, okay, sorry. ACCT. Okay, ACCT.
But ACCT, there was a committee, it was trustee Anderson and trustee Williams. I've talked to Nello. I don't know what that committee is there for, except for maybe a report on what we get from ACCT. I don't know.
It's in use.
Yeah. But he's welcome if he would like to report on that periodically. It's up to him.
Yeah, you sure would welcome that. Okay, with those committee assignments? Okay, what I was gonna say was that if you are not presently on a committee, let's say you had something burning about the, something in our budget that you really wanted to see. Please pick up the phone, call someone who may be on the finance committee and raise the question, or moreover, please just call Dr. Overlander. So just because you're not on a committee certainly does not mean that you should not be in the know. But we can't read each other's minds, so I think the responsibility really needs to come forward from ourselves, as well as in assuring that when you're on a committee, you provide that feedback. But please exercise that right, because in visiting with people, that's something that I've heard, that if you're not on that committee, you may not be getting, you don't feel as present with the information. So make that be known so we can get people apprised. So I would just please ask as professionals that we do that. So thank you, Vice Chair, for making those committee assignments. Is that something that needs a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Palmer moved.
Second.
Yeah. Okay.
Josh.
Yes. It's been moved by Chair Palmer and trustee Williams McGrath jumped in before you, seconded by McGrath. All those, is there any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, that's done. Board Education, trustee Day, you're up.
Ellie's gonna throw up on the screen here. One of the committees that I am on is the WACT. And just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of what is out there for education from WACT. It's a phenomenal website. And it's actually hid by Ellie's little box there. But when you go in, there's a, try to know where I'm at.
These resources.
Yep, upper right-hand corner. And it's trustee resources. When you click on trustee resources, as you scroll down, you'll keep scrolling, see the trustee handbook. And if Ellie will click on the view the book, there's some really phenomenal things. And this is open to the public. It's open for everybody to see. Anybody can go in to see, the trustee handbook. It's a public website. You can click on it and it goes through kind of the three parts of there about what is a trustee. And then also goes into funding. Scroll down, there's the content. And what is the WACT, the Wyoming Association for Community College Trustees? There's two of us from each college that serves, and Dr. Oberlander, the president of each college, is there. And then the second part of the handbook is funding. And this is one part is if you're a math whiz, you can go into it pretty deep, but they keep it pretty simple as well. We've heard a lot about property taxes and how property taxes affect the colleges. And we'll scroll down and just view some of the graphs that they have in there. There's some pie graphs that are really awesome. I mean, I've had people in my office with questions about, the scroll down to it, about property taxes and how it affects each one of the counties. They break it out pretty well. The funding will just keep going down. I was going to break this into a whole hour presentation, but we're trying to get the quickest meeting award.
Oh, no, that's long gone.
Yeah.
Long gone.
I've already been missed.
But you can see when you look at each of one of the counties that has a community college, what they receive from the state. You'll see Campbell County, obviously we receive minimal from the state of Wyoming. And then as you scroll down, we'll scroll down to some of the pie graphs that are there. They're pretty easy to explain when you have somebody in your office. You see Campbell County, what we receive from mineral taxes, agricultural tax, residential tax, property tax, how that money is being used. Pretty minimal as far as, when you see 7% of the revenue coming from property taxes. Now, when you scroll down to Fremont County, and this is what's pretty impressive to see the difference. Fremont County, keep scrolling down. I'm not gonna, you can go into these on your own time and see the percentages there. When you see Laramie County, 42% of property taxes. Natrona, 46% property tax. Keep scrolling down. Park County, 59%. This debate right now, Sheridan County, 75% of the income for the college comes from property tax. So you decrease property tax income for the college. These are some pretty impressive little graphs when you see, to show it to somebody how legislation can affect the revenue for the community colleges here in Wyoming. As we scroll down to the next step, or the portion number 3, our trustee duties. And I wanted to kind of there's one really good slide. Each one of us, as we talk about, establishing our strategic plan. I wish I would have seen this before I took this job or was elected to this position, but it's awesome. I appreciate the training from our handbook. You guys did a phenomenal job putting together our handbook, and this continues to go right along with the handbook that we've established for the trustees here. But our strategic plan right now, we're working on a phenomenal strategic plan. Setting policy, carrying out our fiduciary responsibilities. That's just what we're talking about here. Looking at, you made a great comment there about we have a committee. I'm gonna trust that committee's judgment. They are the ones that listened. I wasn't there, so they took everything into consideration. I'm gonna trust that committee, and I'm gonna support the decision that's made by the phenomenal people that we have. Hiring a supervisor executive. We have one employee, and then providing an institutional oversight. Those are kind of the 5 categories. And then if you go down to the next slide, with the fiduciary, I won't dig into this, but there's a few comments there. As I was reading through this, there's one thing that Trustee Smith said the other day, the duty of care. We are stewards of that money. The $18 million that's sitting there, we are stewards of that. We've got to figure out how we make sure it doesn't trickle away. And then as you scroll down to the next slide, there's a quick little right here. This is the slide that I kind of wanted to, as you look at our roles and responsibilities, it just puts it, there's a lot of them, but we act as a unit, all of us together. We may not agree with every decision, but when we make a decision, we act as a unit. We work as a board unit member. We're part of that board. Discourage partisan politics. My views may be different than Larry's on politics, but we're working together. We represent the common good of our community, of our college. Govern transparently. It's great to see the newspaper here, and these are broadcast to everybody. They can see what we're all doing. And create a positive climate. It's great to see the climate survey come in, and what are we going to do with that information? Making sure that we're using it, making sure that we're giving feedback to the employees that we have. We evaluate the one employee that we have and make sure that things are running smoothly, and change needs to happen. We can make those changes. We define the standards of the college operations. We set the college's strategic direction. I appreciate everything that I have seen as being on this committee. I had no idea the work that happened 25 when I was a student the first time, and to see the decisions that were being made then are what put us today at, having the city, transfer the buildings, the county, everything. Those decisions were made 20 plus years ago. And those are the decisions that we have to make. We're the long-term planners. And then monitor institutional performance, support and advocate for the college. We're here, we're participating, we're, right there. And then lead as a thoughtful, educated team. And I think we do a great job of that. And everyone in this room. It's not just us, it's everyone here. And know your Wyoming statutes. And it actually, the next few pages go through the Wyoming statutes with the links there. So if anybody hasn't ever used this or seen it, it is a great tool that go ahead and use it. It's there and free. So that's all the time. I'll wrap up on education.
Well done, yeah, and what an extra bonus to our onboarding when new board members come on, and just resources for us. So I think you really have emulated being the enthusiasm of a new trustee, the fact that you're committing time to go to Washington, going to the new trustee forums. And that's just awesome. And that's just gonna bring us back a lot. So
I'll bring back what I learned.
yeah, well, we trust that you will.
Yes, it'll be good.
Chair Wasserberg,
Yeah.
just one comment. That was a great job. I'm also on WAC-T, and I know I've said it before, but the two of us try to visit with as many people as we can to explain our situation. No state aid. And we're not out to take a piece of the pie from the other 7. We would just like to be treated equal. That's what we try to.
Between the piece of the pie, and if Ellie had already taken it down, but they had the map of the districts there. And when you see that, the Eastern Wyoming College district going up into Sundance and Newcastle, and to see we're right there, right on the edge of it. And it's like, we just need just slide that border right over. Yeah.
Yeah. Disagree with that. Well, thank you, Trustee D. That was very, very helpful, and appreciate your education. Hey.
Next time I'll take an hour.
Perfect. Okay. Public comments. Is there anybody that has signed up for public comments? Yes, right. I mean, Mr. Larson, go right ahead. And so those who get signed up, and feel free to come forward.
Chair Wassenberger, Board of Trustees, Dr. Oberlander, Trevor Larson, Vice President of Vania Construction. Yeah, so one, I just want to thank you for your time. You know, Jake and I wrote a letter just on your selection process and kind of our feelings on that. Again, I appreciate you taking the time, Tracy, your response, and that you received it and distributed it to the board. So thank you for that. Sometimes those just get you know, set to the side. So I appreciate that time. Couple of things I just want to answer. One, I mean, Venue and Construction's been here since 1998. We're not going anywhere. We've been a long supporter of the college. We're not picking up our toys and going elsewhere. Like, we'll continue to support the college, partner with you guys. You know, I don't see it as like we don't expect like a pay to play, you know, where I'm supporting the college. You know, my family and I started a basketball tournament after my dad passed away in 2010. And 5 years ago, I handed that over to the college, you know, like, hey, you guys be a good steward of this. So let Pronghorn Booster Club took that over. Thought it would be a great way to carry that on. And 5 years later, they're still doing that either next weekend or the following weekend. So, you know, we've partnered with you, and you guys talk about community partnerships, and I feel like we've done that. And I'm not taking anything away, just like you guys have said. The committee was there. I know most of them personally. I have a great deal of respect for all of them. The reason I brought this is I feel like you guys as the Board of Trustees you're commissioned a little bit higher to look at things a little bit deeper in that. And Campbell County as a whole, I mean, it happens in our school district, you know, with recalibration. Like, we look at how much money goes out of Campbell County for other things, and we fight and we fight and we fight for that. The beauty of a CMAR, especially if we weren't qualified to do it, I would not be standing here. I wouldn't be defending our position in this. But I do feel like we're qualified. I think if we weren't qualified, you wouldn't have shortlisted us. The feedback we got said, hey, you were right there. And so what I'm asking, again, we're going to continue to pursue projects at Gillette College. And what I'm asking is that you look deeper than that and task that to your committees. I don't want that taken away. I've been on committees before. They put in a lot of time, effort to make those decisions. And you're right, you have to trust your leadership in doing that. What I'm asking is you look a little bit deeper. I mean, the relationships, you talk about community partnerships, and that be looked at, that, you know, if you have somebody here locally and you are given the choice, because it really comes down to you're given the choice to do that. It's not based on a low bid situation. You're given a choice. I do think that there are some fiduciary responsibilities in that, because as we stated in our letter, a company that comes in from out of town, there's costs associated with that will increase the cost of the project compared to using somebody local. And again, I'm not gonna rehash all that, but I guess for future interview processes like this, that you give some weight to that as you look at local contractors who have partnered with you. We've done 3 other projects on this campus. We built Westwood. I personally have been the project manager on all 4 of those projects. And so I think we've been a good partner. We've worked with MOA, the architect, on this for 2 previous projects with both sets of student housing. So Sampson, they're a big company. I'm not taking anything away from them. But they come here when there's a big piece of cake on the table. For us to continue to pursue work here and to also provide jobs and steady jobs is we bid all work here. If it's $100,000 remodel that you guys are going to have to do some classrooms, we will be here putting a number together. Those companies won't. our body of work, we feel is what speaks for us, and that's our marketing tool. Not, we were given some feedback on technology. I understand that, but our marketing tool is our body of work, which I don't think any of those three contractors can stand up to the body of work that we've done in Campbell County. Again, not taking away from them, but I just think the partnership and our commitment to this community should have a little bit more weight when making those selections. So again, I appreciate your time. We will continue to support Gillette College and pursue work here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor, very much. And we appreciate the communication. I hope that we can keep information flowing as need be for the transparency that we really do strive for. So, thank you for your email. I'm glad everyone had received it. Glad you got the feedback. Glad you came today. Just gives you a firsthand appearance of all the really good work that is going on and the amazing administration, faculty and staff that we have, the awards that were given. So thank you very much for sitting here for, it's a little bit longer than average meeting today. It's all for the good. So, all right, thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Okay, hearing none, then I'll let the trustees review your upcoming events. Anybody in the crowd have a necessity for me to read them, or I think they were on the agenda?
I had two.
Yes, you can add two.
The redheaded stepchild of the Booster Club would like to add the Sim Golf Tournament, which is this Friday, the 23rd, and then May 2nd will be the annual Booster Club Golf Tournament. There is, if any of you are so inclined to want to put a team together on Friday, I think there's a couple, 2-3 teams still available. It'll be at the Golf Zone. So.
Okay.
Oh. Sweet.
Great. Okay, thank you, trustee McGrath, for those additions. Any other additions, questions? All right, if not, then move to adjourn. Okay, Williams and Dave. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.